To start the first project, you'll need a black board, some paint, a paintbrush, and a pencil. Start by drawing your design first. I'm doing a simple trick or treat design. Once you finish the design, make sure you check over it and everything's where you want it to be and you've added any last minute designs. Then start to paint your design with the color of your choice. I found that having more paint was better for cleaner edges, but you have to have a lot of control. An optional material for this project is to use paint pens instead. I couldn't find any at Michael's, so I just picked up some acrylic paint, but it's up to you. Once you finish painting your design, let it sit and dry, and then you'll notice it's a little clear, and so I wanted it to be more opaque, and I painted 2-3 more layers on my design since it is such a dark background with just thin acrylic paint. Once you're done painting the letters, I decided to do a little bit of a border with just some orange dots. Feel free to add any pumpkins, ghosts, any Halloween critters you want. I just decided to keep it simple. So here's the sign after it dried. I think it turned out really nice. I put it on my door to my dorm, and I find that it turned out really nice and people really enjoy seeing it in the hall. This next project, you'll need orange and green yarn, some brown pipe cleaners, and some scissors. Start by taking the orange yarn, and what you're going to do is make a pom-pom. So put the string across your 4 fingers, hold it with your thumb, and then you're just going to wrap it around those 4 fingers for about, I'd say 150 times. If you want it to be plumper, go more. If you want a thinner pumpkin, do less. After the 150 mark or so, you're going to take your scissors and cut the yarn as close to your hand as possible. If you have trouble, like I did, you can get a friend probably to cut it for you. Then cut a small piece of orange yarn that you're going to finish off the pom-pom with. It's definitely easier if you do this prior to starting your pom-pom, but it's okay if you keep the yarn on your hand while you cut it. It won't affect the pumpkin. Now what you're going to do is you're going to squish your unmade pom-pom up your hand to your fingers enough that you can get a little hole in between your ring finger and your thumb in the bottom. Then you're going to take your small piece of yarn and thread it through that little hole. And then bring it up around through the back and in between your ring finger and your middle finger at the top. Once you have the 2 pieces together, carefully tie a loose knot. If you need help, call a friend again, and then slowly take your fingers out from the pom-pom and then tie the knot really tight as possible. Hold one finger over the knot and then tie it again, trying to keep as much tension as possible. The tighter it is, the more pumpkin-like your pom-pom will look. And I even triple knotted sometimes. Once you finish tying it, you'll notice there's some gaps. You can squish over the yarn to fill those in and make it more spherical. And then just kind of play around and cup it and make it the shape you want. Once you finish shaping the pumpkin to your liking, repeat the step of making unfinished pom-poms for about 9 more times or however long you want the garland to be. Once your pumpkins are done, you're going to take your brown pipe cleaners and your scissors and cut little stems. With your stem, take your pumpkin and you're going to thread it through under that little loop that you created when you tied the pom-pom together. Once you have that, just bend it up, and then I found twisting it made it more stem-like, but you can do whatever you want. Some of them I left a little more simpler. Have fun with it. The stems are always the best part of a pumpkin. Now cut a sizable length of green yarn that will be used to be the leafy stem of the pumpkin. Then what you're going to do is take this yarn and put it in between those extra strands from the orange pom-pom section of the pumpkin. then tie a knot on top to secure it. I did probably 2 or 3 knots. Then the little strands you put and tuck it into the base of the pumpkin. If you want, you can cut it as well. Now cut a huge length of green yarn to be the base for your garland after you've put the green leaves on each pumpkin. Then you're gonna take the pumpkin with the green string on it and do the same kind of tactic you did to put the green with the orange, put it in between the 2 strands. And this time I did a little bow kind of to make it more ivy strand looking, but it's up to you. You can just tie a simple knot and have a cleaner look, but I wanted a little more messy green vegetation on my pumpkins. Once you have finished tying all your pumpkins onto your garland base, enjoy your little pumpkin garland made out of yarn. It's just pretty much unfinished pom-poms tied on string, but it's really nice and you can use this decoration all throughout November as well.